Picture this. You wake up on your first day of retirement. No alarm, no meetings, no boss, just pure freedom. And then your phone buzzes. It's your bank. There's a problem with your account. And suddenly that perfect morning starts falling apart. This scenario plays out for thousands of retirees every single year, and almost all of it is completely preventable. Today I'm going to walk you through every account you need to get organized before you retire, because the difference between a smooth retirement and a financial nightmare often comes down to the preparation you did in the years and months beforehand. Stay with me because the last few items on this list are the ones most people completely overlook, and they're often the most important. Let's start with the obvious one that most people think they have handled but actually don't. Your bank accounts. I'm not just talking about knowing your login information, I'm talking about really organizing them. A lot of people accumulate multiple checking and savings accounts over the decades of their working life. You opened one at your first job, another when you moved cities, maybe one more when you got a better interest rate somewhere else. By the time retirement rolls around, you could have 4 or 5 accounts scattered across different institutions, each one earning minimal interest, each one requiring separate monitoring. Before you retire, take inventory of every single bank account you have. Consolidate where it makes sense. Figure out which accounts have the best interest rates for your cash reserves. Designate one primary checking account for your day-to-day retirement income. Set up automatic transfers so your Social Security, pension, or investment withdrawals land directly where they need to go. The goal is simplicity and visibility. You want to be able to look at one dashboard and understand exactly where you stand financially. Next up are your investment accounts, and this is where things get more complex and more critical. You need to know the difference between your taxable brokerage accounts and your tax-advantaged retirement accounts, because how and when you withdraw from each one has massive tax implications. A taxable brokerage account is going to expose you to capital gains taxes when you sell. Your traditional IRA or 401k withdrawals are taxed as ordinary income. Your Roth accounts grow and can be withdrawn tax-free under the right conditions. Before you retire, sit down and map out exactly what you have in each type of account. This is called understanding your tax diversification, and it gives you flexibility in retirement to manage your tax bracket strategically. Also, check your beneficiary designations on every single investment account. This is something people set up once and never review. Your investment account beneficiary designation overrides your will, so if you put your ex-spouse down 20 years ago and never updated it, that is where your money is going regardless of what your will says. Now let's talk about your 401k. If you're leaving an employer, you have a decision to make about what to do with that account. You can leave it where it is, roll it into your new employer's plan if you're doing some part-time work, roll it into an IRA, or cash it out, which is almost never the right move. Rolling your old 401k into an IRA often gives you more investment options, lower fees, and more control over your withdrawals. But before you do anything, understand the fees you're currently paying in your 401k versus what you'd pay in an IRA. Some employer plans actually have access to institutional funds with very low expense ratios that you can't easily replicate in a retail IRA. Do the comparison before you decide. And if you have multiple old 401ks sitting at former employers, now is the time to consolidate. Tracking down money scattered across old workplace plans is a headache you do not want in retirement. Here's one that catches people completely off guard. Required minimum distributions, or RMDs. Once you hit the age set by current tax law, the IRS requires you to start taking minimum withdrawals from your traditional retirement accounts each year. If you don't take them, the penalty is substantial. Understand that when your RMDs kick in, how they're calculated based on your account balances and life expectancy tables, and how they'll affect your overall tax situation. Many retirees are shocked to find that their RMDs push them into a higher tax bracket than expected, which can also affect how much of their Social Security is taxable and what they pay for Medicare premiums. You need to plan for this well in advance. Some people even choose to do Roth conversions in the years before RMDs begin to reduce the size of their traditional accounts and lower their future RMD obligations. Social Security is its own kind of account that needs your attention before you retire. Log into the Social Security Administration website and review your earnings record. Make sure all your work history is accurately recorded because your benefit is calculated based on your highest 35 earning years. If there are errors, you'll want to correct them before you claim. Also, think carefully about when you plan to claim. Claiming at 62 gives you the earliest access but permanently reduces your monthly benefit. Waiting until 70 gives you the maximum possible benefit. The right answer depends on your health, your other income sources, and whether you're married, because spousal benefits add another layer of strategy. Let's not forget about your health savings account, or HSA, if you have one. This is arguably the most powerful account in your retirement arsenal and one of the most misunderstood. Contributions go in pre-tax, the money grows tax-free, and withdrawals for qualified medical expenses are tax-free. After you reach 65, you can also withdraw for non-medical expenses and just pay ordinary income tax, making it function like a traditional IRA at that point. Before you retire, maximize your contributions if you're still eligible. And after you retire, be strategic about spending from this account. Healthcare costs in retirement are one of the biggest expenses most people face, and having a well-funded HSA means you can cover those costs without touching your taxable income. Now for the ones most people don't think about until it's too late. Life insurance accounts. If you have permanent life insurance policies with cash value, those are assets that need to be part of your retirement planning conversation. Do you need the death benefit anymore? Could the cash value be used strategically? Talk to a financial advisor about what role that policy plays going forward. Annuity accounts are another area that requires attention. If you have annuities, understand exactly what you have. There are fixed annuities, variable annuities, indexed annuities, and immediate annuities. They all work differently. Know your surrender periods, your income options, and how your annuity income will be taxed. And finally, your digital accounts. This sounds minor, but it's genuinely important. Your investment accounts, banking apps, and social security portal all require passwords and often two-factor authentication. Create a secure document, an encrypted digital file or a fireproof physical document that lists your accounts, login information, and key contacts for each one. And finally, your digital accounts. This sounds minor, but it's genuinely important. Your investment accounts, banking apps, and social security portal all require passwords and often two-factor authentication. Create a secure document, an encrypted digital file or a fireproof physical document that lists your accounts, login information, and key contacts for each one. Organizing your accounts before retirement isn't a one-afternoon task. It's a process that ideally starts 2 to 3 years before your target retirement date. Work with a fee-only financial advisor who can help you see the full picture of how all these accounts interact, how to draw them down efficiently, and how to minimize taxes over the long run. People who retire most successfully aren't necessarily the ones who saved the most. They're the ones who organized what they had and had a plan for using it wisely. You've spent decades building this. Take the time to organize it properly so that first morning of retirement really does feel like freedom.